Alrighty folks, so this morning I woke up and I used someone else's toothbrush. No I didn't actually, but you know who did? Penny did. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bounded and Bookmarked. I'm Jaleesa. Today's video is a reading vlog. Now, I would like to preface this with saying the current me recording this video right now will not be the me you see in like 5 minutes. For some reason, I didn't film an intro to my video when I started recording this vlog. I don't know why. My brain must have just stopped at that time. I don't know. But what I can say is that in this vlog, I will be reading Her Royal Highness by Hawkins, and I will also be reading Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. So I hope that you're excited to see my thoughts on these two books. I do want to say that I do read Her Royal Highness first. This book follows Millie, who just recently had a breakup, and she goes to Scotland for her last year of high school, and she ends up being roommates with the Princess of Scotland, who happens to also be kind of an enemy of hers. They just don't get off on the right foot when they first meet, but eventually a friendship does form, and then a relationship kind of forms from that friendship. And then we have Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi, which follows Penny and Sam, two characters who kind of meet and exchange phone numbers in this really weird way, and they just form this friendship over the phone, and then eventually, you know, some things happen, and we see them just kind of go through their journey of life together for a couple of months, and we see how they both kind of step in and help each other throughout some hard times in their life. Yeah, the next clip will be me on the floor in my bedroom. I don't know why I jumped to talking about Flora and her character like that fast. But Flora is the Princess of Scotland and Her Royal Highness. So in the next clip, you're gonna see me talking about her character and how I feel about her. So yeah, here we go. Hi, yes, I'm on the floor. I know. I needed a change of like scenery or something, I guess. But anyway, so it's 8:13 and I just wanted to like talk about my current read, Her Royal Highness. I'm like almost to the halfway point. We're following Millie, who is this young girl. She's in her last year of high school and she ends up transferring to a school in Scotland. Well, she wanted to go there anyway, but then she found out that her best friend slash girlfriend slash like not really sure what the title is for it, she was kissing her ex. So pretty much, you know, that was like the what's the phrase, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, something like that. I don't know, but that was like the final straw for her. So she leaves and goes to Scotland and ends up becoming roommates and kind of like, I'm gonna call them frenemies, but roommates slash frenemies with the Princess of Scotland. At first, and I think because I was reading this book late at night on FaceTime with my friends, and I just wasn't really into the story in the very beginning, but after like around page 85, I was like, this is kind of funny, very entertaining. Oh, and the princess's name is Flora, and so the characters in this book are really quirky. They're so cute. You have like Millie, who's very quiet, reserved, not very confrontational, like she wants things to be good and like simple, and then you have her roommate Flora, who is very confrontational, has no problem confronting people and saying what needs to be said. She does this thing where she'll tell the truth about something or someone, and people will think it's her being mean, but she's just like, no, I'm not being mean, I'm just telling you how I feel, what I think. And I love her character. I don't know, like at first I was like, dang, you're kind of freaking rude, but then after she said that line, I was like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense, because her character is definitely, she's in the spotlight, number one, and she feels like the boarding school that they go to, she thinks that they're using her family and her family's name as a prop to advertise the school, and she's a person, so she feels like it's just not right. The thing about Flora is she's like the troublemaker. Her and her brother both are, they're twins, and she feels like no one looks at her as a person, they see her as just this problem. So I really connect with her character. I'm nothing like her, but I do like that she's not really a mean girl. She's just an honest one. And some people can say like being blunt isn't cute or being blunt isn't like a good thing. And sometimes I see what that I get what that means. At the same time, some people really are just very straightforward, and they're not being mean or nasty, but they're just saying what they think. Now, everyone isn't good at using the proper words, but some people mistake that for her being mean. At one point, two of her, I won't call her friends, they're not her friends, they're like her minions, but two of her minions were like, I thought you didn't like Millie. And she was like, no, I never said I didn't like her. She said she was boring and only wanted to study or something like that. And basically she was just like, how do you equate me not liking my roommate just because I said that she's boring and only wants to study and do homework all the time? So I'm like, that's true, that's facts. Doesn't make her a mean person, it makes her observant and honest. So I don't know, the dynamic is funny. And then you have like, this is supposed to be enemies to lovers, but it's weird. They don't like each other, but they had no real reasons why. It's just like, Millie is still mad at her ex, you know, she's trying to go away to a different school and kind of just restart her life and be different. And then you have Flora, who's just mad at the world kind of, and is trying to get people to see her for a person. And so it's not even about the two of them, because they don't really know each other that well to be like, I don't like you, but they're like constantly bickering in these weird little moments. But then there are times where like Flora will try to step in and like fight for Millie's honor. So it's so funny, the back and forth that they have going on, because one minute they're talking and they're having a conversation, and the next minute Flora just can't be serious for that long, so she'll make like a stab at Millie, and Millie will roll her eyes and be like, okay, well that was over with, like whatever. So it's cute, and I do like the idea of the boarding school. It's definitely giving me like Gossip Girl / Princess Diary vibes, because passages in this book where we're looking at, I'm assuming some kind of blog or something, different blogs that discuss royal news, so it's giving me like anonymous blogging, like XOXO Gossip Girl vibes, which I do like a lot. I don't know, like I'm not like loving it, but I'm not hating it. I'm definitely having a good time reading it though. I'm enjoying myself. So far, in terms of like any romance or whatever, no romance has happened yet between Flora and Millie. Honestly, I'm not gonna update probably until either something really great happens or I'm finished with the book with like a final update, and then I'll come back to you guys, let you know what I'm gonna read next. Ta-ta for now. Okay, bye. So I'm not done yet with Her Royal Highness. I should be, but I'm definitely not. I'm getting close though. I'm literally like less than 100 pages out from finishing, or maybe 100 pages out from finishing. I do like the book. I would recommend the book. I like the banter like now, because in the beginning it was kind of, honestly, like they had banter, but it wasn't anything that I was loving. I like Flora as a character though, like by herself, she was really funny to me. I feel like she's just so perfectly imperfect and standoffish in like the funniest and best of ways for me. But as far as the two of them as like a couple and stuff like that, I mean, they're still frenemies. Like they're finally kind of flirting right now, and I'm on page 200. Based on the pace of this book, how many pages are left in this book? I already know I'm not going to love the romance part of the story, which is cool because everybody can take away one thing they like from a book. Like this is a romance book, but the romance for me is just not that interesting, but the characters are, and the backdrop of Scotland is very interesting to me. So there are other highlights for the story, so I don't really feel like that bad about the romance and not loving it as much as I would like to. I love the main characters though as like individual people. I think that they're crafted really well. I actually enjoy them as frenemies. I have a feeling that when I finish this book, I'm gonna probably like them as a couple. And I also find like some of the scenes underwhelming. For example, there was a scene where they had to do this thing called the challenge, and the challenge happens every year at this school, and pretty much they are sent out into the woods for 2 days to survive with their roommate. I kind of felt like that was a great opportunity to elongate their friendship. I wanted it a little bit longer because I want to believe that these two have gotten closer, and although they mentioned that they have kind of gotten past the enemy stage of their friendship or whatever you want to call this, I want to see it play out. I don't want them to tell me that. So I find that I'm being told once again more things than being shown them. And when it comes to romance, I want to believe it because I want to root for the couple. I just don't feel that right now, so we'll see. Right now I'm about to go back into my room. It's been raining all day, all morning. It rained all night last night, and I have to film today. I have to film an unhaul video and my May wrap up, and I have homework still. I have to do a paper it's due tonight, so I have a lot of things I need to get done, and the day's almost halfway over. I'll be up late per usual, once again working on stuff. But anyway, let me stop vlogging so I can do this, finish this book so I can be done. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. So It is now Friday, and I had a pretty productive day today. It did start kind of late because I got up out of bed around like, well, I woke up early. I think I woke up around like 8:30, but I didn't start my day until like 11. I edited a video. Well, actually I filmed an unhaul video today, as well as my main wrap-up video, and I am still working on this vlog, obviously. And so the next book, which many of you voted on Mel's live stream just a few minutes ago, is Emergency Contact. So I'm gonna read that now for this vlog, and that'll probably be the last thing I read unless I pick up like a graphic novel or something later on. But I've heard nothing but great things about Mary H.K. Choi, like literally nothing but amazing things. So I'm excited to get into this, and we're on a sprint right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and start so I can make the most of my time. All right, I'll come back in a bit. So it's 1:13 in the morning, officially Saturday. I just got in my bed, like I showered, I ate. I barely read during those sprints. I had so much going on. Literally got to page like 9, I think. And so now I'm going to attempt to read a little bit more of Emergency Contact. I haven't gotten that far into it. I will say so far though, what I've read, Penny and her mom, their relationship is terrible. Penny is really mean to her, but her mom is like wanting to be this young person and flirting with people, I guess, and Penny doesn't like it. I don't know. I'm so tired. I don't know, I just know that Penny was not so nice to her mom. Okay, so I just wanted to really fast like talk about this line that I read in Emergency Contact because Penny is hilarious. So she just got to college, and she's like, I don't want to say hanging out with her new roommate, but more or less she's hanging out with her new roommate Mallory. Well, her new roommate is Jude, and Jude's best friend is Mallory. And so Sam, which is our other main character in the book, he is like Jude's ex-uncle in a way, because their parents were married for a brief moment in time. So anyway, that's how these two are gonna cross paths. So Penny and Sam are gonna be connected through Jude. They're sitting down at this little booth, and Sam like reaches across Penny and so Sam's leg briefly touches Penny's, right? And it literally says, his right knee brushed Penny's left and she almost passed out. I read that line and was laughing because Penny, so far, her character is very stoic. Like, she has so far no real expression that I can tell of. So far I love Jude. She's just very bubbly, very loud. Really like, hey, oh my gosh, hi, welcome, like very peppy. I like that about her. I feel like Sam is like Penny. I feel like the two of them are kind of the same person. They're both pretty quiet, kind of like not wanting to be like bothered. The fact that the two of them are somehow going to like, I don't know, because on the back it says they have a, oh well, it's just a collision of unbearable awkwardness. So maybe because they're just both awkward and quiet and kind of reserved. I'm curious to see how they end up getting each other's phone numbers, because I know they didn't ask with the intention of like flirting or something. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I really don't. But the writing is really good. Like, okay, I see why people like this book already. I'm not even that far in. I'm only on page 48. But the writing is like very captivating because of the voices of the characters. And like, I guess because it's third person, I like books in third person a lot, because I feel like you get kind of just a broadened like view of everything and everyone, and not just one side. I hate one-sided stories. So, and it's dual POV, so it's really cool. I'm gonna keep reading. I've had like not the best reading day today because I've been trying to read, but I've been really just focused on like other things right now. I'm gonna try and stay up for a while tonight and read. It's Saturday, so I don't have anything to do tomorrow really. I do have to edit a video tomorrow, but aside from that, like, I have no homework due immediately, so I can spend all night reading tonight and stuff. So I don't want to take too much time on this particular segment, but this book is just got a lot going on, and I just read a part that I really enjoyed, which I thought it's kind of an ironic portion of the story. We are officially in college with Penny, and it's her first class, and she is in her English class, and she wants to be a writer. So her professor is a black woman who wrote this really amazing sci-fi story. Anyway, they walk into class, they're sitting down. The question that the professor poses is, does a Chinese writer get to write about a slave lynching? And I was like, what kind of question? What? They have a discussion about it amongst each other, whatever. And so, you know, we see this question all the time on Twitter and on Bookstagram. We see these questions pop up like, should authors write, for example, for me, I'm gonna say, should white authors write black characters? That conversation comes up so often, and of course it's definitely going to be a very opinionated answer. Like, each person will have a different answer, because for me, I've always felt like, and this is not something I've ever actually thought about until I joined BookTube. Mind you, I've read many books growing up, and at the time I never questioned how we were being represented. And so now that I'm older and I'm on booktube and I've learned so much about reading and thinking about what I'm reading and how people are being portrayed in books, to answer that question, if that was me being asked that, I feel like, number one, authors definitely take on, and this is like, this goes for any artist really, but you have the ability to create something beautiful, right? And so I'm not against authors who are not black writing black characters in their story, because Mary is doing it and she's doing a fine job of it. However, it is the kind of care you put behind it. And I do hope that authors, when they do decide to diversify their writing because they genuinely want to, because they genuinely want people to be represented in their work, I hope that they are questioning themselves, like, where am I getting my material from? What is making me write this character in this manner? Is this a good representation of people, of the people I'm writing about? What am I doing? Like, questioning themselves over and over and over again to ensure that the people they're writing in their books are represented well. I'm also the kind of person who feels like if you can't write people who are not like you, don't even try. Because what would suck is, in your mind, you have good intentions maybe, but you have underlying biases that are dangerous and they're going to show up in your work. And that's the dangerous thing. And that's a lot of power we're putting in authors' hands. So I say that to say, if you can do it the right way, go for it. If you can't, write whatever demographic you belong to, stick to that if you can't do it correctly. So just a little tangent, but I find this book so interesting because it's like, what I'm loving the most, I think, right now about this book is that even though it's supposed to be, I guess, a romance, I think there's so many different conversations happening within the text, and it's a lot in this book going on, but I'm really loving that Mary H.K. Choi is not afraid to write real life stuff, because that stuff is real. But I'm just gonna keep reading until I get tired, to be honest, because this was supposed to be a 24-hour readathon blog and it turned into like a long reading blog. So, and you guys want to hear my thoughts? Yes, you do, because I'm past the halfway point. You know, I just took a shower, and while I was in the shower, I was thinking about this book, because when I picked it up, in my mind, I thought I was reading a romance. I was definitely mistaken. I thought I was going into a heartfelt romance. I'm not. But I do feel like this will be a heartfelt contemporary, because Penny and Sam are basically the same person. They are two people who are struggling, and it's like the more they talk to each other, the more they realize they were lonely before each other. We're watching these people's lives just play out on paper, and I love it because it feels so raw. The way that they text back and forth and have these deep conversations in the most non-deep fashion, I don't know how to explain that either, but just imagine that they're having these conversations with each other, and it's in like the shortest way possible, but it's really impactful for both of them. And it's just the realization that they're both having about their life before they met, and how much they want something different, something else, and how they feel like they didn't fit in with anyone else before each other. And so you have this bond that they're forming is so sweet and so delicate, and they're so afraid to mess it up. The writing is so good. It's so fun. It's got this really like edgy flair to it, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get to page maybe 300 tonight, and then finish this up like first thing in the morning and be done with this vlog. So yeah, you guys, this is getting so cute. Okay, so I'm convinced that somebody has it out for me, because you all watched my vlog where I read 50 Shades of Grey, and in that vlog, Disgusting Anastasia used Christian Grey's toothbrush. Thought it was cute. I thought it wasn't. This is becoming a theme, and I don't like that it's a recurring theme over here on my channel, because this shouldn't even be like something that occurs in books. So as I'm reading, Penny decides to stay the night with Sam, and she wakes up, brushes her teeth. She didn't pack a toothbrush, so deductive reasoning leads me to believe she used Sam's toothbrush. We get that confirmed, and Sam's like, "Did you use my toothbrush?" She was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You're so weird." And then he gets up, goes to the bathroom, and then looks at his toothbrush and was like, "Oh, it's wet," and then brushes his teeth. Is this a thing people actually do? Let me know, because maybe I'm the weird one. Maybe it's weird that I don't do that. Let me know in the comments, because at this point, I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, I'm almost finished. I have like 50 pages to go. So last night I was saying I was loving this book. I don't know if that's true anymore. I like it. I'm having fun, but I think it'll probably end up being like 3.5 stars, because maybe, I don't know. I was swooning for a minute, but I feel like I didn't swoon enough. Today I'm not loving it as much, and it could be because I'm just tired. I'm enjoying the book, just not as much as I was yesterday. So maybe I'll wait till tomorrow to rate the book. No, I won't. I'm gonna rate it today when I finish. Alrighty folks, so this morning I woke up and I used someone else's toothbrush. No, I didn't actually, but you know who did? Penny did. I finally finished Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. And when I finished this book, I had differing thoughts and feelings. This whole vlog, you guys have watched me just kind of swoon over this book and love this book and laugh and enjoy it. And after further deliberation in my sleep, I realized that I didn't love this book. Like, I thought I was gonna love it, like I wanted to love it. It had a lot of strengths. It also had a couple weaknesses for me. So let's just start off with the rating. I'm giving this book 3.5 stars. Very strong book overall. There was just a few things that I feel like fell kind of flat for me. Let's start with the romance, because this is not a romance book. I wouldn't consider it one. This is definitely just contemporary. But because we have the relationship between Penny and Sam as being like the central focus of the story, their friendship was really nice. It took place predominantly over phone conversations, which was cool, and I have no problem with that. I did feel like they did get time to kind of get to know each other very well. It was an overspan of a few months. Granted, the time goes by kind of fast in the story, but you realize, you know, they meet in the beginning of the school year, and by the end of the book it's Thanksgiving. So there's a few months of this book happening. So time-wise, it makes sense how close they grew together and stuff like that. The text messages were so sweet to me. I know from some reviews, some people didn't like the text messages. I personally loved them. I feel like they weren't your typical flirty text messages. They were just very kind of dark sometimes, but Penny and Sam just understood each other. They got each other. The romance that they had was a bit hard for me to grab onto. Now, I was rooting for them, don't get me wrong. I feel like there was so much that could have been told or could have been shown to us that we just kind of didn't get, you know. It's kind of on a cliffhanger. The book ends, not really on a cliffhanger, but it just kind of ends very openly. I don't like that for this particular story. I like the writing. It was very different from anything I've ever read before. Some would say it sounds juvenile, and I can see why people think that, but for me, it was just fun. And I think part of the reason why the writing was so, I don't know what word to use for it, but the writing for me kind of offset the characters. One of the strongest aspects for me of this story were the characters and their personalities. Penny and Sam both harbor some stuff that they just haven't confronted with themselves yet and people in their life, and this book definitely walks through what that feels like to just have all this guilt in you, to have all this confusion about who you are, to not really understand why your brain's wired the way it's wired, some parental relationships that are just broken and falling apart. If you're not someone who enjoys stories about people who are struggling, you're not gonna like the story, because it's not a happy-go-lucky romance. It's just not that. There were a lot of moments that I feel like could have been executed a bit better, and I don't want to go into details because I don't want to spoil anything, but I just wanted more from that scene. I wanted to feel more of what Sam was feeling, you know, that empty, rejected feeling. Like, I feel like that could have been a little bit stronger. And then the end of the book, when I got done with it, I was like, oh, that's the last page. I was very confused. I didn't think it'd be the end of the book, because of how abruptly it was over. And so for me, I was like, I hate that it just ended so abruptly, because you get all this build up, right? The whole book is surrounding Sam and Penny and this relationship that they're building. Not necessarily the whole romantic side of it, but just the bond they're creating. And then you get to the end, but then it's over. And I'm like, wait a minute, like the whole buildup of this story was for them to have their moment, and then this is all we get. So the ending left me just wanting a lot more. I mean, overall, it was a good book. Would I recommend it to people? I definitely would. There are some trigger warnings for this story. You have miscarriage, rape, anxiety, panic attack, depression, alcoholism. I believe that's it. So just to kind of forewarn everybody, and yeah, there you have it, people. You heard it here first. So that is the end of this reading vlog. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you all for however long we've been hanging out together so far. And as always, I will see y'all in my next video.